Hey, I need to expose some evil. I understand that there's spiritual warfare out there that is affecting people. I also believe that there are willing participants because it's a choice. You know, I've suffered greatly because of these types of people when I've tried to offer them unconditional love, or perhaps I was afraid to stand up to them, didn't want to hurt them, so I took the consequences on myself, and I'm not going to do that anymore because it's producing quite a bit of rage in me, and I don't want to be that person. I've discovered that the times that I'm feeling that way is because I'm not speaking truth. I'm not standing up for myself. I'm swallowing rocks. I call them the rocks in my belly. Every time that I brush something under the rug, whether it's something done to me or something that I've done that I've not taken responsibility for. And in escalation periods, or maybe you're under pressure, they come out for me. They rumble and come out in volcanic proportions, cuss words for me. It stops here. The losses that I've endured, my marriage for one. I started with a new career and a townhouse, my first townhouse, and $10,000 in the bank, and he had nothing. And I left with pretty much nothing, 15 foot of trailer space after 14 years, and started over living in a barn for about a year. I was in bliss. That was a situation that I had come from, that I was happy enough to be in a barn. And he sold our house for $1 million profit and was honored with a judge pro tem position a couple of years ago. And I guarantee that I didn't deserve all the affairs and crazy making that went along with them. I stayed because I was bamboozled with his lies. You know, he begged me not to leave. He said that he would do the work and even fake like he was doing it. I was told not to pull my house down to be a better example. And honestly, I'd cheated when I was younger, but I grew up. I changed. Some people just never do. They don't change. They don't want change. They don't want to grow up. And here I am again, 58, and I'm now living between, I believe, two worse humans, both sides of me. And I'm again taking on others' consequences. I'm not doing it anymore. It is time to expose things fully. I'm going to shine some really bright light on some very evil darkness. Love is truth. So this is in love. It's just not always kumbaya. It doesn't always feel good and cozy. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's hard to say and hear. So here we go. When I say you, I'm talking about Jezebel, the wife of the couple that paid to have a tree crew come onto my property and cut all 4 of my canopies up so high that I see no foliage anymore after 3 years still. And bad grandma busybody on the other side of me, who is her flying monkey that involved herself when it was none of her business, unless she had been part of it from the beginning, which wouldn't surprise me. And you are part of it now, actually, because you sent me back to the hospital, and we'll get to that in a minute, babe. You stole from me. In 2018, you stole from me. In 2023, you stole from me. In between, you stole from me. Many times I asked you to stop doing things on my property that you continued to do, almost with a vengeance, it seemed. When I confronted you in 2023, you immediately bullied me, gaslit me, and lied to me about it. You lied to others to involve them in your hate. You lied to others about offering me a 6-figure settlement when, in reality, you ignored every fair attempt at resolution that I made. You called me an extortionist. You lied about why and all the other favors that you did not ever do for me. You lied that I lost it and that you were helping poor little old me out. I don't know how I ever started a business. You lied about trash around my property. You called me insane, crazy, mental, that I needed to be committed. Maybe you should move. Everybody hates you here, Barb.
Everybody hates you here, Barb.
She is insane. You are mental.
You've called me crazy. You called me delusional.
I think you're thinking
You said
of
I'm a
other
hoarder.
people
Oh, I couldn't.
online.
You don't think I have all the screenshots? What, you think I'm stupid?
Yeah. Maybe you should move.
You called the cops on me when it was none of your business, bad grandma busybody. I was talking to Mark, having a decent conversation. and you had to insert yourself. It truly makes me wonder how much of this has all been egged on by you. You have stalked and bullied me on my property while I'm having conversations with a surveyor, an arborist.
I'm not bullying my neighbor. Just trying to figure out where my line is. Go away!
You've pulled out my no trespassing signs. You poisoned my oak. You poisoned my oak. I have the sampling. An arborist has shared this with me. It makes me wonder what else you've poisoned, because you have sprayed things in my yard that I've asked you to stop spraying. I used to have beautiful flowers. You pointed a surveillance camera directly into my back picture window. You involved your granddaughter in it so that you didn't have to say you did it. That's some generational curses you're bringing down on your family. You also tiptoed my boundary line with a young child in hand, playing like it was funny, taking pictures of it. There's verses in the Bible about what people that teach children like that should be wearing around their neck. You might want to look into it. You mocked me. You made faces at me. You are mean girl bullies. Grade school mean girl bullies. You bait and bully me to make me look crazy and say she's the problem. I'm not the problem. I'm not crazy. And I'm not stupid. You've thrown debris on my property, and when I've asked you to stop, you say, consider yourself blocked. And you continue to do it. Jezebel, bad grandma busybody, Cheryl, you called me a pedophile. I'm supposing for no other reason than I have cameras protecting my property because you cut my trees without my permission. They were actually there before you cut my trees. I'd put them up when your granddaughter said somebody broke into her house, stole her keys and her SUV. And I have a text to you saying that I'm putting them up. We were all okay with it then. Now all of a sudden I'm a pedophile. I have a very good family name, Jacobson. I honor my father in the things that I do. I greatly respect my brothers. I admire them all. I'm proud of them all. I'm proud of who I am, who I've become. I have a business. I have a God-given business. I have a business that God is the center of it. I am trying to spread the goodness of God, and you called me a pedophile. That is a lie from the pit of hell, and it is very wrong that you said it. I am certain that you are the type of person that would spread that slander, and it sent me back to the hospital with another episode of ventricular tachycardia. This is not SVT. This is not anxiety. This is something very serious that could have killed me at any moment. First time it happened, the doctor said, what you came in with, the majority of people fall over and die from immediately. So I went ahead and scheduled the ablation so that I wouldn't fear my heart exploding whenever I saw you or heard your cackle. And the 1.5% risk happened to me, and they pierced a hole in my heart, and I woke up intubated with them checking my toes quite often to make sure I still had a pulse. Went back in the hospital the next weekend with trigeminy, came home, passed out, fell flat on my chin, gave myself a big old bruise, misaligned my jaw, something wonky is going on over here with my bite. Got a big old blood clot in my arm, inches by inches, that they couldn't do anything about because of the heart medicine that I was on. And a whole bunch of depression. Some pretty severe depression after that. And Jezebel, Regina, again now, you've come on my property and cut my trees again. You came on my property at 2:37 in the dark of the night because you knew what you were doing was wrong, and you cut my trees again. Why? Was it the Riverview? Look somewhere else. Was it spite? Are you a psychopath? You've already told me nobody's going to tell me what to do, and I can do anything I want. I'm going to tell you again what I said at your husband's funeral, this time for everybody to hear. God knows, Regina. You think that you're getting away with everything that you think that you're getting away with, and you're not. Not at all. Somebody better wake up over there. I guarantee that Ashley wouldn't have been okay with the way that you are training up Ava. Wake up. What's wonderful about it, you doing this again, is it proves all along it was you. Mark might have paid for it, but it was you making the decisions. I knew it. So when I sue you, because it's still on the table, and I will, whether with an attorney or pro se, I'll risk that. I have nothing to lose. I have all the truth, the majority of it with evidence. I am going to sue only you. Remember that verse? Even though the thief steals to feed his family, when he is caught, he'll have to pay 7 times what he stole. He may lose his whole house. I have given you a lot of grace. I have given you years to make it right. I initially made a heartfelt video for you because with what was going on over here, it always felt amped up, and I didn't want to accelerate a conversation with you. And I needed you to hear me, and you ignored me. I sent you a letter, and you ignored it. I have had multiple conversations with you that you have ignored. I have said, fairly, you get an arborist, I'll get an arborist. They meet in the middle on the value of the trees, and you'll pay me 3 times the value of those trees, which is Illinois statute of law. That's fair. And yet, you said, that's too expensive. That's too expensive. We're not going to do that. Just make us an offer so you can call me an extortionist. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. It's going to be fair. And they were priceless to me, so you don't want my number. I did nothing to deserve this. I simply was not at my property 24/7 to protect it. And the worst that I've done since is cuss you out. Albeit often. I cuss you out. I saw a meme the other day that said, my paraphrase, some people will say that I'm kind. Some people will say that I'm vicious. Believe them. They got the version of me they deserved. What you have done, what you continue to do is wrong. It is illegal. And I'm not going to tolerate it any longer. I have, I believe, no other protection besides this exposure because of small town corruption. The original officer would not take my evidence. I talked to him over a period of 2 days, and he handed me back my photos the next morning when I went to talk with him about this. And I said, don't you need him? And he said, no, I don't need him. They can just say that they didn't do it. I had shared that I had videos. He didn't even want the videos of the tree crew fully on my property, in my trees, branches falling. But they could have said that they didn't do it, huh? I called out to the prosecutor's office to ask them to review the case, and he said, I don't have anything. I said, do you want it? He said, yeah, I want it. I said, hold on, I'll be right out. I went out there to the clerk's office. They didn't want it. They didn't want to take it. I wouldn't leave. So finally ended up talking to somebody that grilled me, and when he did take my evidence, of course it was denied, and denied for property damage when I'd asked for criminal trespassing. Denied with the wrong date. When I called an investigator to ask to reopen it, because that's the process, he told me that they have to have been warned that they couldn't trespass first. So you're telling me that somebody can come on my property and do damage, but I have to have told them that they couldn't. Actually, I did in 2018. Don't touch my trees. He'd also said, I have your dozen photos here. I had submitted over 2 dozen photos. So, evidence what was thrown away? Somebody might want to look into that. Because I'm not going to let it go. I had spoken with another deputy on my way to the clerk's counter, and he'd said the same thing that happened to him. Somebody came on his property and cut his trees. I said, what'd you do? And he said, I prosecuted him. So that had given me hope. Why aren't you helping me out? Rock Island County Sheriff's Department. Why aren't you helping me out? Rock Island County Prosecutor's Office. I am a tax-paying property owner, business owner with no record. I am a female. Feels a whole lot like discrimination. I had been skeptical, suspicious, and so I looked up that original officer to see who he was, and wasn't surprised to find that he was partying with your minions, the ones that you used to bully me, the ones that you lied to about me, and they believed your lies. Obviously, he did too. Y'all need discernment nowadays, because there's people that lie a lot for some pretty evil gain. Wake up. Wake up. Stop acting a fool. You're bringing generational curses on your family with the lies that you're telling. You're bringing generational curses on your family with the illegal activities that you're participating in, instigating. You're mocking God, saying that you're a Christian and doing these things. You're mocking God. P.S. Still, Jesus loves you. This is not how he wants us to act.